Now, in this sort of series, we've been talking about behaviour change, right? And how do you affect behaviour change? But one of the things that is sort of part of the repertoire that we help people understand is this idea of how do you get people to trigger stories. I know from your experience, Mike, I mean, A, what does it look like? You know, and B, how do we help people look out for those types of situations?
Yes. So in the Story Powered Sales class, the fourth workshop is devoted to what we call value stories, how you should behave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And these are invariably examples of story triggering.
Yes.
Meaning that someone in our company has done something that's so remarkable, the buyer will talk about it.
Yes.
And will influence the decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my favourite example is one that I heard in a training program. As a sales guy working for a software company, it was a systems integration company.
Yes.
So they were integrating other suppliers' equipment in.
Yeah.
And the sales guy said, well, I took a contract, a reseller contract to my CEO for signing. And the CEO was there at his desk and gets his pen out and starts sort of initialing the clauses, you know, going through the contract. And he got to a clause that said that my company will receive a 10% commission for any of these products and services that we on-sell.
Yes.
And the CEO just crossed that clause out and looked up at me and said, you know, we don't take commissions, we don't accept commissions from our suppliers because that could put us in conflict of interest with our client. You know, we want our client to know that the only way we get paid is from them and that we'll give them exactly the products and services that they need.
Yeah.
So it's a great example of a value story. The CEO was modelling the behaviour that he expects of the people in his company.
Yeah.
And these stories are unique, in my opinion, because they influence your own staff, your partners and your buyers and the community about how you should behave.
Yeah.
They're worth a lot more than something on the wall about our values, you know, in mauve or pink or whatever.
Exactly, with the rower.
The rower, yes, passionate and ethical, and yeah.
That's right. How do you think is a good way to help people build that into their, you know, day to day? Again, going back to this behaviour change.
Yes.
How do you get people, you know, because for me, I'm thinking part of it is around noticing the opportunities.
Yes.
Right. You know, noticing that, you know, that there is a ritual that you could undertake or an action you can undertake that is remarkable enough, people will go, oh, there's something going on there. That's different. You know, that's something we need to attend to and notice. Yeah. I mean, how do we make that happen?
Look, I've spent a lot of my career working on like huge deals,
yes,
$100 million deals, and you have a lot of time to think actually, because you know it might take 2 or 3 years before the client finally comes around to deciding they're going to buy a new network or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
So you can actually think about what behaviours do we model that are exceptional, that are different from our competitors. What could we do that would demonstrate that to the client? And what we do in the training course is most people in big corporations know how they're supposed to behave, right? Because they're told they have these 5 values or whatever.
Yeah.
And what we do is we say, look, you want to be able to talk about your values to your client.
Yes.
But if you say, you know, at our company we believe in ethical behaviour, this goes nowhere, right? You know, as opposed to lying and stealing, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, especially if there's examples where it's you know, runs counter to that.
Correct.
You know, then you really got problems.
So what we want to be able to say is, look, you know, the ethics of the deal is very important to us. For example. Yeah. And the example is the story that shows this is how we behave.
Yes.
And we can collect those examples, and like the example I gave you of the CEO and the contract. And I would say if you don't have a good example, you probably don't actually have that value. It's just lip service.
A number of times I've been in organisations and you know they've listed their values. You know, let's say integrity is one of them.
Yes.
I'll always ask, "Oh, can you give me an example?" And if they don't have one at the tip of their tongue, I'm just thinking, yeah, that's unlikely. I mean, if you value integrity, your organisation should be teeming with integrity stories, right? They should be everywhere, but that doesn't happen, right?
No, that's right.
Anyway, I think what we need to do for anyone to build that as a habit so it becomes a sort of a change behaviour. It's a lot to do with noticing. First of all, noticing that stories will make a difference, but also noticing that a remarkable behaviour in line with the value is what will trigger new stories.
That's
And
right.
once you make that connection, you'll see opportunities all over for that
Yes.
sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
very good.